Greetings, our Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters. This is L.D. Smith, the watchman on the wall. Israel, it is our Sabbath. Grab that King James. First of all, before we get started tonight, I want to wish all of our sisters and brothers, we here, a lot of me, no more, we want to wish all of our sisters and brothers a happy Sabbath all over. That being said, let us go forward into our teaching tonight. We have a wonderful teaching, my sisters and brothers. A very good one. And as I always say, I want you to think about the word, and my sisters and brothers, think about what you are saying and listen to what you are saying. And it'll come together for you, all right? Because I know it'll come together, because the Most High says that this word is for the children. So there's any doubt in my mind that the children is going to get it, all right? And that being said, we're going to be teaching tonight about the Gentiles. All right, and we're going to let you know where the Gentiles came from and who are the Gentiles, all right? Okay, but first of all, you guys that have been following lotomemore.org for any time, you guys know I always like to go back to the beginning. And once we go back to the beginning and you come up to a certain point, you will know exactly what you're talking about. Because if you start right there where you are, you'll be lost as the ball in high weeds. So we're gonna go back to the very beginning. We're gonna go back to Genesis, all right? Now let's look at this here in Genesis 1. We're gonna start with verses 24, 25, and 26. And it says, "And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creatures after his kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so." All right. Now he says in 25, saying, God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw it was good. Now everything that you see, God created it, okay? Male and female. All right? Now, because we're going to get down to that part. But look what it says in 26. It says, God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowls of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth up on the earth. All right, now see that God say he putting this man that he have created here over all the dominions of the earth. Now let's go to chapter 2. Let's look at chapter 2 here, and let's look at verse 7. It says, "And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." Okay, now we know God planted a garden eastward of Eden, and then he put this man that he formed, okay, in the garden. Okay, so now we got a man and a woman over here that he have created. Now we got a man here that he have formed, but he's gonna form. He's gonna also make a woman out of this man here by taking the rib. Okay, now y'all know the story. You know, he took the rib from Adam and put him to sleep, and then made Eve and this and that. Okay, all right, now we all know about that. Now let us go a little further. We're going to Genesis chapter 6. Okay, because we need to get him to this flood. See, all right, now let's go here to Genesis 6. Let's start with verse 1. It says, "It came to pass, when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto men." Okay, now, remember the first man and the woman, God told them to multiply also, right? Then he formed the man Adam, and then he made Eve, and then Adam and Eve, they begin to have children, you know what I mean? It's in here, but you guys have read it, so we're going to go forward here. Now we're talking about the earth as being replenished here with daughters and stuff. It says, "And the sons of God saw daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose." Now we see that sons of God came down and they made it with these women here. on planet Earth. Okay, now let's go a little further. It says, and there were giants. Okay, they made it with him, and then their babies came out giants. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, talking about the giants, which were of old men renowned. Okay, now we see now that we got the first man and woman that they done multiplied. Now we got Adam and Eve, they multiplied. Now we see here the offspring of some of these people that have not Adam and Eve, but the first one. The giants saw the women, and now they made it with them and made giants. Now I want you to keep in mind of all these people that we're talking about here, okay? Keep in mind now. Keep that in mind. Now, we see here that God said here that man imagination had and got so wicked until he said he was going to destroy the earth and all that was in it. Now we're going to jump down to verse 12. Let's go to 12. He says, and God looked upon the earth. Now this is chapter 6 in Genesis. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his ways upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Now God says he's going to destroy everything, see what I'm saying? But now he tells, in verse 15, he starts off telling him about an ark, okay? Telling them how to build this ark. Okay, before we get into the ark here in the Bible here, I did the research on this ark, and the ark is 450 feet long, and it's 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. Now y'all keep that in mind now. Okay, here we see how he tell him how to fashion it in verse 15 and 16 until he goes on and tell him, you know, what all he need to do there. And then he tells him, he says in verse 18, he said, but with thee I will establish, he said, I will establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee, and of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of each sort shall thou bring into the ark to keep them alive with thee, that shall be male and female. Now, okay, now he's giving instructions here about everything. Now, remember I told you about the giants, and I told you about the first man, the first woman. Okay, now Noah and them came from Adam and Eve, so we know about them. All right, now we see now he's telling him to bring all these in. See, because God has said that he gonna destroy everything else alive. So we know all life is gonna be on the ark. The giants, all the people that was from the first woman and man, and also from Adam and Eve, which that's Noah and his family, meaning it was a total of 8 of them. Now let's go a little further here. Because let's look at Genesis 7 and 1 here again, and it says, and the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark, for there have I seen righteous before me in thy generation. In every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by 7, the male and the female, and the beasts that are not clean by 2, male and the female. Of fowls also of the air 7, and the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. Now you see here now we see what he is doing here in Genesis chapter 7. Now we're going to go on down. He said, and Noah did according to all that the Lord had commanded him, and Noah was 600 years old, and he goes on down there. Now let's jump down to verse 9. He says, there went into 2 and 2 unto the ark, into Noah, into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded. Now, we see here there are 2 males and 2 females. All right. Now, Noah has put all these in the ark. Now, I have given you the dimensions of this ark. Now, we know, now I want you to use common sense, Israel. I know you're going to get it. There's no way in hell that he could put whales on there, elephants, giraffe, lions, tigers, all these creatures, mosquitoes, roaches, ants, everything that people up on the face of this planet, Noah had to put inside this ship. Now remember now, it's only 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and about 45 feet high. Now we know now that that's impossible. By just natural thinking, it's impossible. But in reality, it's not impossible when you shrink things down to a microscopic level where it was like a DNA bank when they was in petri dishes or in test tubes or some form of a laboratory where you could house all these things in a miniature size, microscopic size, and then you can get all that on the ship easy. So here we see that even though it had gopher wood on it and all this other stuff on the outside, on the inside, it had to be a sophisticated high-tech laboratory, because in order to keep anything alive, you got to have some water. Where you find water at, you're going to find life. So here we see that all these creatures, if there was broken down to a molecular size, microscopic size, where it was just like a little worm up on a microscope, you could get all those animals on the ship. So we're going to look at it from a scientific point of view. But God is much more than a scientist here on planet Earth. So we know he did it with very, very high technology, advanced technology that will blow our mind. So we know he did it, but we don't know exactly how. Okay, now let's go forward here. Okay, now we're going to look at Genesis 10. Let's go there. Well, let's go to Genesis 9. Genesis 9. I want to get ahead of myself. Genesis 9. Let's look at verses 8 and 9. It says, "And God spoke unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, and I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after ye." He said, "And with every living creature that is with you, and the fowls of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, for all that goeth out of the ark, to every beast of the earth." Okay, now here we are. Everybody is getting off the boat. All right. Now think about this. Every creature is getting off the boat. Beasts, fish, the people that was with the first man and woman, the giants, all of these are coming off the boat now. And see, the thing about that is, we look again, it had to be done through very, very, very high advanced technology, because Noah stayed with the ship. Now you think about this now. Noah and his family stayed with the ship, but everything else came out of the ship. Now, think about this too, my sisters and brothers. Who or what put the fish, the whales, the fish, the alligators, the crocodiles, the hippopotamus, all these, the otters, who put these creatures in their prospective places in all this water? It had to be God. And he had to do it by advanced technology, because they rested on top of this mountain and all the water receded back down. So we see here that God was working behind the scene with very, very high advanced technology in order to get all this stuff accomplished. So now all these people and the creatures that he took 2 by 2, some he took 7, all these are off the boat. It's just like back in the olden days when a bus driver drive the bus. He let everybody off, and then he checks the bus. He stays with the bus. You know what I mean? So Noah and his family stayed right there with the ark, but everything else was gone. Now, let's go a little further here. Let's go down to chapter 10. Now let's look at this right here now. I want you to pay very close attention to the wording, Israel, and you're going to get this right here. I know you will. Now look what it says. It says, now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. So we know that they stayed there. They stayed there after the flood. Now, watch it right here. Now, they're gonna start traveling now. They're gonna leave the boat. He says, the son of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. Okay. Now, these are the sons of Japheth. He said, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Raphat, and Tugamah, and the son of Japheth, Elishat, and Tarshat, and Kittim, and Duganan. By these, not these sons, but they are traveling now. He said, by these were the isles of the Gentiles. They went down and they live in the land there at the Gentiles. Now look what it says. And see now, like I say, listen to the word, and then I guarantee you, you're going to get it. He said, and these were the isles of the Gentiles, divided in their land. Now, if you think about this for a moment, how can these here be Gentiles, and they are the sons of Japheth? Now, if you read on down here, you'll see Japheth brothers, they had children too. Why are they not Gentiles? Think about it. But anyway, I'm going to prove it to you. And look what he says here. In verse 5, he says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles, meaning that they were down there by the isles of the Gentiles, divided in their land. All right? Now watch it right here. Listen closely. Everyone after his tongue. How can that be? They all came from Noah. These are Noah's grandkids. Now how can they be talking a different fucking language? But this is what it's saying. It's saying that they all had their own language. How can you have 8 kids, you and your husband, and then they all come out talking some other kind of damn language? Does that make any sense to you, Israel? Hell no, it don't. Because that's not what it's saying. It's saying the Gentiles was already down there when they came off the boat. They was already down there, established in their land. The land was divided, and they came down there and lived by them in their land. The Gentiles' land. Not Noah's sons. Look, it's right here. It goes even further. Look what it says. After their families? How can that be? They all came from the same seed, Noah. How can that be? How can it be different families? In their nations? Israel is right on the pages. It's right on the pages. These are not Noah's grandkids. These people are speaking their own language, and then now they got their own damn nations and their own families. Now check this out right here. And these are the sons of Ham. Ham is Japheth's brother, right? Cush and Mizraim and Putin and Canaan. Why not? Why does it not say Gentiles there? They are brothers. They came out of the same seed. See, my sisters and brothers, it's right there. All you gotta do is take a little time and look at it. I know how we've been taught, but if you take your time and look at it, and believe me, we all need teachers, you know what I mean? But the Most High, He shows us stuff like this right here, and that's why we be so excited to share it with you every Friday, because He always giving us something different every week. But we can see clearly here, it tells you there that they had different tongues, different families, different nations. How can that be? And they came from the same seed. Ain't so. Now let's go a little further here. Let's go to Judges, because we're gonna show you how the Gentiles here work. And not only that, the Gentiles, they don't have anything coming. Nothing. Gentiles ain't got nothing coming. Nothing. And another thing, let me say this right here in passing. One asked about where the white people come from. The white people came from out of the water. God never touched them. God spoke and they came out of the water. Now, I know some may not believe that, but think about this right here. You ever been around a white person when they get wet? Honestly, this is not a joke now. This is true facts. You ever been around one of them when they get wet? They smell. Have any of you guys ever been fishing? You take a fish out of water and see don't he smell? But I ain't got one even better. I got something here. I'm going to show you guys before we go any further here. Look at this right here. And tell me what you think of this. Tell me what you think of this. Now listen closely. Listen closely. I got it right here.
Really, I don't know why it is that all of us are so committed to the sea. Except I think it's because, in addition to the fact that the sea changes, and the light changes, and ships change, it's because we all came from the sea. And it is an interesting biological fact that all of us have in our veins the exact same percentage of salt in our blood that exists in the ocean. And therefore, we have salt in our blood, in our sweat, in our tears. We are tied to the ocean. And when we go back to the sea, whether it is to sail or to watch it, we are going back from whence we came.
Now, my sisters and brothers, that was Kennedy, one of the brothers that got shot. Now, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to show you. He is telling a story about them. Now, let me show you about us. Let's go to Genesis chapter 12. Let's back up real quick. For time's sake. Let's look at Genesis 12 and 7. Look what it says here. He said, and the Lord appeared unto Abram and said unto him, thy seed will I give this land, and there and they'll build an altar. No, that's not the one that I want. Let's look at Genesis Genesis 2 and 7. That's what I want. Genesis 2 and 7. Not 12. My fault. I'm in a hurry here. Genesis 2 and 7. Look what it says. And the Lord formed man from the dust of the ground. Didn't he? And he told man that he's going to go back from whence he came. The man that he formed from the dust of the ground, he's going to send him, he's going to go right back to the earth from which he came. But they say they're going back to the water. That's why they want to be sprinkling my ashes out there over the ocean and all that other bullshit, because that's where they came from. We came from the earth. Now, let's go forward here. Let's go to Judges chapter 4. Now, here we see that the children of Israel, in verse 1 it says, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord when Ehud had died. Now, he said, and the Lord sold them into the hands of Jabin, king of Canaan. All right? And he says, reign in Hazael, the captain of whose were Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles. Harosheth is the land of the Gentiles. All right? And Sisera here is a army that Deborah and this guy named Barak, they're gonna battle with him in the land of the Gentiles. Now they're fighting all around the Gentiles in their land. But I'm gonna fast forward here. Let's look at Genesis. Judges chapter 6. He says, and she sent and called Barak, the son of Abion, out of Kadesh Naphtali, and said unto him, hath not the Lord God of Israel command, saying, go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and the children of Zebulun? Now, he said, and I will draw unto thee the river Kishar Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army, with the chariots of his multitude, and I will deliver him into thy hand. Now, Deborah and Barak, they're going to come against the Sisera army. All right. And the Most High is going to deliver them into their hand. Now, let's jump down here to verse 13. It says, and Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, for Harosheth of the Gentiles unto the river of Kishon. And Deborah said unto Barak, up from hence, this is the day in which the Lord hath delivered Sisera into thine hand. Is not the Lord gone out before thee? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him. And the Lord discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his hosts with the edge of the sword before Barak, so that Sisera lit down off of his chariot and fled away on his feet. But Barak pursued after the chariots and after the host unto Harosheth of the Gentiles, talking about the land of the Gentiles, and all the hosts of Sisera fell on the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left. Now, they went down here and they fought in the land of the Gentiles, all around the Gentiles. They were fighting, but not the Gentiles. Okay, so we see here that the Gentiles did have a land here. They had land. All right, now let's go a little further. Let's go to Isaiah 49. See, because most people think that the Gentiles have something coming, and I'm telling you, it could be from the truth. The Gentiles does not have salvation. Neither does the Gentiles have anything, and I mean any affiliation with the Hebrew Israelites. None whatsoever. Now let's look at Isaiah 49. Let's look at verses 1 through 7. It says, listen, O owls, unto me, hearken ye people from far. The Lord has called me from the womb, and from the bowels of my mother he has made mention of my name, and he has made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand hath he hid me, and made me a polished shaft in his quiver, that he hid me, and said unto me, thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I am well pleased. Not Jesus. Not Jesus. He said, then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work is with my God. Now saith the Lord, that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him, through Israel be not gathered yet, though Israel be not gathered yet, shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength. Now we're going to go on down to verse 7. He said, and he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribe of Jacob, and to what? To restore the preserve of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mightest be my salvation. Not them. He's talking to Israel. He said that thou might be my salvation. Not them. He said y'all gonna be a light. The Gentiles gonna see that my salvation is gonna come to y'all, not nobody else. I don't know where in the hell they be getting all this stuff from. It's right in the pages. He never said anything about salvation coming to them. He says to his people. Now look what he says here. In verse 7, he said, thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of who? Israel and his Holy One, to him whom men despise, to him whom the nations abhor. Talking about Israel. To a servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise, prince also shall worship, because of the Lord that is faithful and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee, not the world. It's right in the pages. Right here in the pages. I don't see how one can misinterpret anything that we're saying here. Now let's look at verses 11 here. Let's look at verses 11. He said, and I will make all my mountains away, and my highways shall be exalted. Behold, these shall come forth from far, and lo, these from the north and from the west, and these from the land of Sinai. He says, sing, O heaven, and be joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains, for the Lord has comforted his people, who Israel, and will have mercy upon his affliction. But Zion said, now God telling them that he doing all this for them. Now they're going to reply back. But Zion said, the Lord has forsaken me, and my Lord has forgotten me. He said, can a woman forget her suckling child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet I will not forget thee, not the world. He said, behold, I have graven thee upon the palm of my hand. The walls are continually before me. He said, thy children shall make haste, that destroyer, and they that made thee waste shall go forth of thee. He said, lift up thine eyes round about, and behold, all these gather themselves together to come unto thee. He said, as I live, saith the Lord, thou shalt surely clothe thee with all as the ornaments, and bind them on thee as a bride doeth, for they wasted and desolate places, and the land of the destruction shall ever now be too narrow by reason of inheritance, that they swallow thee up shall be far away. Let's jump on down here. I'm going to jump on down here a little further here. Now let's watch this right here. This is Isaiah 49. Let's jump down to verse 22. It says, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles. Like this right here. Now watch what he said. Now listen. He said, and set my standard to the people. He said, and they shall bring thy sons in their arms. They're going to bring our sons in their arms, and our daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. He said, and kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens shall thy nursing mothers, and they shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth. That don't sound like anything good for the Gentiles to me. But anyway, he says, and lick up the dust off of thy feet, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. Now look what he says. He say, Israel shall not be ashamed with him. Now let's go a little further. He say, 24, 25, 26, let's read that. He say, shall the prey be taken for the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? But thus saith the Lord, even the captain and the mighty shall be taken away. He say, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contend with thee. He said, I will save thy children. He says, and I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh. And they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine, and all flesh shall know that I, the Lord, am thy Savior, and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. Not the world, not the world. Gentiles ass in trouble, just like all the rest of them. There is no way that Noah's grandkids can be any damn Gentiles. Ain't no way. No way. way. Now let's go a little further. Let's go to Isaiah 60. Let's go there. Well, let's go to Isaiah 54. Let's look at this one right here. Isaiah 54. This is another good one. Isaiah 54. Let's look at verses 1 through 10. Look what it says. Sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear, break forth in singing, and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord. Enlarge, look what he said, enlarge that place of that tent, and let them stretch forth that curtain of thy habitation. Spare not, spare not, meaning, hey, stretch the thing out. Spare not length thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. Now look what he says. For thus shall break forth on the right hand and on the left hand, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles. Now, how about that? How you like that one? He say, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. In other words, we're going to take every damn thing back. We're going to take all that shit. Y'all know how we talk in the hood. We're going to take all that shit. Look what he says. He said, fear not, for thus said, for thou shalt not be ashamed. Y'all, I'm telling you, we are not going to be ashamed. He said, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame, for thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth. See, they looked down on us for over 400 years. They treated us like a piece of yesterday's shit. But he says, we're going to have it so good till we're going to forget all about that. And look what he says here. He says, for thou shall not be put to shame, this is verse 4, for thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shall not remember the reproach of the widowhood anymore. He says, let me jump down here to verse 6 here. He says, well, let's do 5:2. He says, for thy maker is thy husband, and the Lord of hosts is his name, and thy redeemer is the Holy One of Israel. The God of the whole world shall he be called, for the Lord has called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth when thou wast refused, saith thy God. Now I'm going to jump down here to verse 11 here in our 54. Well, let me do 10. He says, for the mountains shall depart, and all the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee. Now y'all read all this right here. He said, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord that hath mercy on thee. See that? But I pity for the Gentiles and all the rest of them. Now let's go to Isaiah 60. Let's go to real quick. Let me get this in real quick here. Isaiah 60. We can start with verse 1 through 5. It says, arise, shine, for thy light is come, and thy glory of the Lord is upon thee. Talking about Israel. He say, from behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee. Talking about Israel. And his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light. And kings to thy brightness of thy rising. He say, lift up thine eyes, round about and see. All that gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy sons shall be come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then shalt thou see the flow. Now listen, together. And thine heart shall fear, and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be covered unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles coming unto thee. I tell you, my sisters and brothers, it's going to be like the sea is going to be full of them. They'll be coming unto us. I mean, it's right in the pages. But my sisters and brothers, the Gentiles are not Noah's grandkids. Neither do they have any affiliation with the Hebrew Israelites at all. None. Now let's go to Isaiah 62 real quick. Because let me close this out real quick. Isaiah 62. We're going to do 1 through 11. Look what it says. It said, now listen closely. He said, for Zion's sake, I will not hold my peace. And for Jerusalem's sake, I will not rest until righteousness thereof go forth, and brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. He said, and the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, Israel, and all kings, thy glory, Israel glory, and thou shalt be called by a new name which the mouth of the law shall what? Shall name. See that? Gentiles that got them coming, they're going to see all the stuff that the Most High have for us. They're going to see his glory on us. They're going to see us in a way that no one has ever seen us like that before. My sisters and brothers is right in the pages. I have so much more that I could read here, but for time's sake, I don't want to go over 40 minutes. But anyway, we see here that coming from Genesis up to Noah's Ark, we see that everything came in on the ark, and God transformed it back to life again and sent it on its way. And that's how the people got down there in the isles where the land was divided up, and it was the Gentiles' land. And Noah's son went down there and lived among them. My sisters and brothers, we here at LouderMeNoMore.org, we wish all of our sisters and brothers a happy Sabbath. Until next time, shalom.